Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to speak about something that, at its core, is as timeless as it is powerful: loyalty. We often think of loyalty as a simple concept, something that can be defined in a few words, but its depth, its roots go far beyond what the eye can see. Loyalty is not just about being true to others, it's about being true to ourselves. It's about holding on to what we believe in, even when the world around us may be challenging our values. It's the quiet strength that comes from standing by those who matter, even when it's difficult, even when no one is watching. But what does loyalty truly mean? Loyalty is not about perfect love or unwavering agreement. It's about commitment, about being there day after day, even when the circumstances aren't ideal. It's the steady hand in a storm, the constant presence in times of doubt. Loyalty is about making the choice to remain, even when the world may pull you in different directions. Loyalty isn't loud, it doesn't shout or demand attention. It whispers in the moments of silence. It's found in the small gestures, the actions that show up when words fall short. It's in the actions that say, "I am here for you," even when nothing else needs to be said. But loyalty is not blind. It does not mean tolerating disrespect or injustice. It's about respecting the bond, not losing yourself in it. True loyalty requires a balance. It requires strength to stand up, not just to others, but to ourselves, knowing when to protect our peace, knowing when to walk away, knowing when to challenge. As we reflect on the concept of loyalty, let us also remember that it is a two-way street. To be loyal is not a one-sided sacrifice. It's about mutual respect, understanding, and growth. It's about nurturing relationships, seeing the humanity in each other, and lifting one another up. True loyalty doesn't exist in isolation. It's always built on reciprocity and trust. In a world that often values convenience over commitment, loyalty becomes an act of resistance. It is an unwavering beacon in a sea of distractions, a constant that reminds us of the values we hold dear. Loyalty teaches us the strength of connection, the power of standing by our beliefs, and the beauty of shared journeys. To be loyal is to understand that our actions ripple beyond ourselves. When we stand firm, when we choose to remain, we not only shape the world around us, but also ourselves. Loyalty molds our character. It strengthens our resolve. It builds trust, the very foundation on which we construct our relationships, our communities, our futures. So let us celebrate loyalty, not as a rigid rule, but as a guiding principle, a force that leads us to deeper connections, richer lives, and more meaningful moments. Let us be loyal, not just to others, but to the person we aspire to become. Loyalty is often considered to be an outward expression, something that we show to others. We see it in relationships, friendships, and familial bonds, and we are taught from an early age that loyalty is about being true to those around us. However, what is often overlooked is the most crucial element of loyalty: being true to ourselves. Loyalty to others is, in many ways, a reflection of our loyalty to ourselves. Without this internal alignment, without this inner truth, our external loyalties can easily become hollow or compromised. Being true to ourselves is not always an easy task. The world constantly pulls us in different directions, and we are frequently faced with the pressure to conform, to meet expectations, or to be what others want us to be. Society, culture, and even our closest relationships can demand that we compromise our values, beliefs, or desires in the name of loyalty. But if we lose sight of who we truly are, if we surrender our authenticity to fulfill external expectations, our loyalty becomes fragile. It lacks the strength that comes from being rooted in who we are at our core. To be true to oneself requires self-awareness, a deep understanding of one's values, needs, and desires. It means acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses, our passions and fears. It requires us to look inward, to engage in continuous self-reflection, and to remain connected to our personal truths even when faced with external pressures. It's about having the courage to stand firm in our identity, even when it feels easier to slip into roles that others may prescribe to us. In a world that often values conformity, being true to oneself is an act of resistance. It's not always easy to uphold our own beliefs when they contradict those of others, or when we face the discomfort of standing alone. However, this internal loyalty, the loyalty we show to our own identity, is a foundational piece of genuine loyalty in our relationships with others. When we are grounded in who we are, our loyalty to others becomes more meaningful, more authentic. We can give our loyalty freely and fully because we aren't sacrificing parts of ourselves to do so. One of the key aspects of loyalty to ourselves is being honest with ourselves about our limitations and boundaries. Often, in the name of loyalty, we overextend ourselves, taking on more than we can handle, ignoring our needs, and neglecting our well being. We may feel compelled to please others, to give more than we have, or to make sacrifices that ultimately harm us. However, true loyalty to ourselves requires setting boundaries, knowing when to say no, and when to protect our own emotional, mental, and physical health. If we cannot honor ourselves, we cannot truly honor anyone else. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but rather an act of self-respect and self-preservation. Being true to ourselves also means embracing our flaws and imperfections. Often we try to hide or deny aspects of ourselves that we consider weaknesses or shortcomings, thinking that they are incompatible with loyalty or strength. Yet authenticity is not about perfection, it is about embracing all parts of ourselves, the light and the shadow. True loyalty to oneself is the ability to accept who we are in all our complexity and to honor that truth without judgment. When we acknowledge our imperfections, we free ourselves from the burden of pretense, and this liberation allows us to form deeper, more honest connections with others. It is only when we are genuinely ourselves, flaws and all, that we can fully be loyal to others without fear of being rejected or misunderstood. The relationship between loyalty to ourselves and loyalty to others is cyclical. When we are loyal to our own identity and values, we are more capable of being loyal to others in a way that is not based on obligation or fear, but rather on genuine affection, trust, and respect. We can love, support, and stand by those we care about because we are not dependent on them for validation or identity. Our loyalty comes from a place of strength, not weakness. When we are clear about who we are, we can offer loyalty that is grounded in mutual respect, free from the distortions of insecurity or self-doubt. However, loyalty to ourselves also requires us to challenge ourselves. It's not just about comfort or staying in our safe spaces. Being true to ourselves means confronting our own biases, weaknesses, and areas where we may be falling short. Loyalty to oneself requires us to grow and evolve, to be open to feedback and change. It is not a static state, but a dynamic process of self-improvement and transformation. This growth may involve letting go of old patterns or habits that no longer serve us, even if they were once integral to our identity. It may require stepping outside of our comfort zones, taking risks, and embracing uncertainty. But these challenges are part of the loyalty we owe to ourselves, to our potential, to our future, and to the person we are striving to become. There is also a distinction to be made between loyalty to oneself and selfishness. Being true to oneself is not the same as putting our own needs above everyone else's or disregarding the needs of others. In fact, true loyalty to oneself enables us to show up for others more fully because we are not operating from a place of depletion or resentment. When we honor our own needs and protect our well-being, we are in a better position to support others. By being loyal to our own growth and happiness, we set an example for others to do the same. We inspire others to be true to themselves, and in doing so, we create a culture of mutual respect and care. In relationships, loyalty to oneself also means recognizing when a connection is no longer healthy or aligned with our values. Sometimes the most loyal thing we can do for ourselves and for others is to walk away from relationships that no longer serve us. This can be one of the most difficult aspects of loyalty because it often involves emotional pain and the fear of disappointing others. But being loyal to ourselves means acknowledging that we deserve relationships that are nurturing, respectful, and aligned with our own values. It means knowing when to let go, even if it's difficult, and making space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. The concept of loyalty to oneself is not just about preserving our identity or protecting our boundaries. It is also about living authentically and fully, embracing the life that is meant for us rather than the one we feel we are supposed to live. True loyalty to oneself involves the courage to pursue our passions, to live out our dreams, and to choose the path that brings us joy and fulfillment. It requires us to trust ourselves, to take ownership of our choices, and to embrace the uncertainties that come with stepping into the unknown. This kind of loyalty is not always easy, but it is the kind that leads to a life of purpose, authenticity, and peace. Ultimately, being true to ourselves is the foundation of all other loyalties. It allows us to form deeper, more meaningful relationships, to contribute to the world in a way that is aligned with our values, and to live a life that reflects our true selves. When we are loyal to ourselves, we build the strength and resilience needed to face the challenges of life, and we create the space for others to do the same. Loyalty in its truest form begins from within, and it is this internal loyalty that empowers us to offer loyalty to others in a way that is profound, lasting, and unshakable. Loyalty is not just a passive state of being, it is built on a foundation of mutual respect, trust, and growth. In any meaningful relationship, whether it is between family members, friends, colleagues, or partners, loyalty requires that we recognize each other as equals, honoring both our differences and shared values. True loyalty is never one-sided. It is not simply about one person giving their allegiance or commitment to another. Instead, it is about a reciprocal exchange, a dynamic process in which both parties show respect, build trust, and help each other grow. It is rooted in the belief that both individuals can support each other's evolution without feeling threatened, and that their loyalty to one another will help them reach their highest potential. At its core, mutual respect is the cornerstone of loyalty. Respecting someone means recognizing their worth, understanding their needs, and valuing them for who they are, rather than what they can offer us. Respect is essential because it creates a safe space where both individuals can be themselves without fear of judgment or rejection. In a relationship built on respect, loyalty thrives because each person feels valued and heard. This allows for a sense of security and trust to develop, which forms the foundation for deeper emotional connection and long-lasting commitment. Trust is another essential component of loyalty. Without trust, loyalty cannot exist. Trust is the belief that the other person will act in ways that are aligned with their values, with the promises they have made, and with the shared understanding of the relationship. Trust allows us to feel safe in the knowledge that our loyalty is not misplaced, that we can rely on others to show up for us when we need them, to be honest with us, and to honor their commitments. Trust builds over time through consistent actions, transparency, and reliability. Without trust, even the deepest feelings of affection and loyalty can begin to waver as doubts creep in and cause fractures in the bond. However, trust is not a one-way street. It must be nurtured from both sides. While one person may be deeply loyal to another, the relationship can only truly thrive when both individuals are equally invested in fostering that loyalty through their actions. Trust is not just given, it is earned and maintained. When both parties are committed to being transparent, open, and honest, trust deepens, creating a stronger, more resilient relationship. It is through this mutual trust that individuals can show their vulnerability and support each other's growth without fear of exploitation or abandonment. Growth is an essential part of any loyal relationship. Loyalty, when it is rooted in mutual respect and trust, encourages both individuals to grow and evolve into the best versions of themselves. In such relationships, the goal is not to hold one another back or impose limiting expectations. Instead, loyalty encourages both people to pursue their passions, develop their talents, and challenge each other to become better. A healthy, loyal relationship allows both individuals the freedom to grow without fear that their changes will threaten the bond they share. In relationships that promote mutual growth, loyalty is not just about standing by someone when times are tough, but also about supporting them as they strive toward their goals and dreams. True loyalty means celebrating the achievements of the other person and encouraging them when they encounter challenges. It means showing up not just when help is needed, but also when success is achieved, ensuring that they feel seen, acknowledged, and supported in all their endeavors. This kind of loyalty makes the relationship stronger because it is built on a shared desire for each person's success and well-being. In contrast, relationships that lack mutual respect and trust may struggle to cultivate this kind of growth. When loyalty is one-sided, when only one person is fully committed to the relationship, it can create a sense of imbalance. In such relationships, one person may feel as though they are sacrificing their own needs, dreams, or values for the other. Over time, this can lead to resentment and dissatisfaction. True loyalty, however, does not require sacrifice at the expense of personal growth. Instead, it is a dynamic process in which both people contribute to the well-being of the relationship while still maintaining their individuality. This balance is crucial because in the healthiest relationships, loyalty is about both people flourishing together, not just one person depending on the other for validation or fulfillment. A key aspect of mutual loyalty is the willingness to be vulnerable with each other. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength and trust. To be loyal to someone, you must allow them to see both your strengths and your flaws, your successes and your failures, your hopes and your fears. True loyalty involves showing up authentically, without pretense, and offering your true self, knowing that the other person will accept you for who you are, imperfections included. In turn, the other person must also be willing to share their own vulnerabilities, creating a space where both individuals can feel seen, heard, and understood. This mutual vulnerability creates an unspoken bond of loyalty where both people are committed not just to one another's happiness but also to their emotional well-being. When loyalty is rooted in mutual respect, trust, and growth, it becomes a powerful force that helps both individuals navigate challenges and uncertainties. Relationships built on this kind of loyalty can withstand the tests of time, distance, and difficulty. They are resilient because they are grounded in the understanding that loyalty is not about mere allegiance, it is about an ongoing, evolving commitment to one another's well-being. In such relationships, loyalty is not a static concept but a living, breathing part of the bond, continuously strengthened by shared experiences, challenges, and triumphs. Moreover, mutual loyalty helps individuals build a sense of community and belonging. It creates a foundation upon which people can support each other, not just as individuals, but as part of something larger, whether it be a family, a team, a group of friends, or a broader network of connections. When loyalty is mutual, it creates a sense of unity and solidarity that transcends individual differences. It brings people together, helping them work towards shared goals, overcome obstacles, and achieve collective success. Loyalty within a community builds a sense of trust that extends beyond the individual relationships, allowing for deeper connections and a stronger sense of belonging. Mutual loyalty also fosters accountability. When both parties are loyal to one another, they hold each other accountable to their commitments and values. Accountability is an essential part of growth because it encourages individuals to stay true to their word, to honor their promises, and to act in ways that align with their values. In relationships where mutual loyalty exists, both individuals feel a responsibility not only to support each other, but also to help each other stay on track and reach their goals. This accountability helps keep the relationship strong, as it ensures that both people are actively working toward the betterment of themselves and the relationship as a whole. At its best, mutual loyalty is a partnership of equals, both people showing up for each other, both people contributing to the relationship, and both people helping one another grow. It is a shared commitment to respect, trust, and support that allows each individual to thrive, both personally and within the relationship. This type of loyalty is not transactional, where one person gives and the other takes, but rather a dynamic process of mutual care and effort. It is a bond that is continually nourished by the actions, words, and intentions of both parties. In such relationships, loyalty is not just a duty or an obligation, it is a shared value that sustains and strengthens the connection over time. Loyalty is often seen as a pillar in any relationship, whether personal or professional, yet it is something that can easily be taken for granted. The idea of loyalty goes beyond just sticking by someone's side during tough times. It involves a deep commitment to the values that bind two people, the trust that underpins every interaction, and the willingness to work through challenges together. Loyalty is not simply about agreeing with someone at all times, but about standing by them despite disagreements, misunderstandings, or difficulties. It's about remaining true to the relationship even when circumstances change or when temptations to deviate arise. At its heart, loyalty is a reflection of the depth of care and the quality of trust that exists between two people. It is not just a promise made, but a commitment that is demonstrated day in and day out through actions, behavior, and decisions. Loyalty, in its truest sense, is shown in the willingness to support and stand by the other person, not because of obligation or necessity, but because of a genuine desire to be there for them. It's a constant, reliable presence, not just in times of joy, but when the going gets tough, when the situation requires endurance, patience, and understanding. However, loyalty can be complicated because it is not always easy to know how to balance it with other aspects of life. People are multifaceted with different needs, goals, and emotions. Sometimes what one person might need in a moment of loyalty can be in conflict with what the other person wants, or even what we need for our own well-being. This is where the true strength of loyalty is tested. Real loyalty is not about blind allegiance, it is about navigating these complexities with care and empathy. It is about understanding when to support and when to pull back, when to challenge and when to allow space for growth. Loyalty is fundamentally about respect, which is something that must be mutually cultivated. It is not one-sided or given unconditionally, without regard to the other person's actions or values. Loyalty requires both people in a relationship to honor each other's boundaries, to prioritize the well-being of the relationship as a whole, and to offer the kind of loyalty that fosters healthy, supportive, and growth-oriented interactions. In a truly loyal relationship, both individuals give and receive, and neither person feels drained or taken for granted. Each person's loyalty is reciprocal, meaning that both are committed to supporting each other in their personal development while still working toward a shared vision. One of the key aspects of loyalty is understanding that it's not just about standing by someone, but it's also about standing for something. When we are loyal to someone, we are, in a sense, committing ourselves to their well-being, their growth, and their values. This is not about blind loyalty, where we support someone no matter what they do, but a deeper, more considered loyalty that requires us to align ourselves with their best interests. It's about supporting them not just in superficial ways, but by being present during moments of hardship, helping them become better versions of themselves, and encouraging them to pursue their dreams and goals. In many ways, loyalty requires personal sacrifices, but it's important to distinguish between healthy sacrifices and unhealthy ones. The former involves setting aside personal interests in order to support someone or something important without compromising one's own self-respect, dignity, or values. The latter, however, involves disregarding personal well-being, continually putting the needs of others ahead of our own, and losing sight of our own desires and goals. Real loyalty allows for both individuals in a relationship to thrive, helping each other grow, but without creating an imbalance where one person is constantly sacrificing their own needs for the other. The strength of loyalty lies in its balance, where support does not feel like a burden, but an act of love and mutual care. Trust is the other foundational element of loyalty. Without trust, loyalty cannot survive. Trust is built through repeated actions that demonstrate reliability, transparency, and commitment. Loyalty is often viewed as a simple concept, something that we can express through words, promises, and gestures. However, true loyalty is much more profound. It is not simply about making grand declarations or offering outward displays of affection. It is about the consistency of our actions. Loyalty is found not in what we say, but in what we do, in the choices we make when no one is watching, and in the way we show up for others when the circumstances are not easy. Loyalty is at its core an act of integrity, and integrity is something that manifests in the everyday decisions we make, the small, often unnoticed moments that reveal the depth of our commitment. In every relationship, be it with a partner, a friend, a family member, or a colleague, loyalty is shown through actions. Words, although meaningful, can be fleeting. They can be said in haste, in moments of emotion, or even with the intention of impressing others. But actions are the true test of loyalty. Actions carry weight because they are the reflection of our values, our beliefs, and our commitment. When we act loyally, we demonstrate that we are invested in someone, not just in theory, but in practice. It is easy to speak of loyalty, to tell someone that you will always stand by them, but the real measure of loyalty is in the quiet, consistent actions that follow. It's in showing up on time, in being reliable, in making sacrifices for the well-being of those we care about, and in offering support when it's most needed. For example, loyalty can be seen in the small things we do for others, often unnoticed. It's about checking in when someone is going through a tough time, offering a listening ear when words are hard to find, and standing by someone's side when they feel lost. It's about keeping promises, whether big or small, and maintaining trust even when there are opportunities to back out. It's easy to make promises in the heat of the moment, but real loyalty is about keeping those promises, following through, and doing what is necessary, regardless of the difficulties or the cost. Loyalty is about action, not convenience, and the truest form of loyalty is not about what is easy, but what is right. Loyalty requires consistency. It's not something that can be demonstrated in isolated, rare moments but needs to be a constant presence in our lives. True loyalty doesn't fluctuate with the circumstances. It's not dependent on how much we feel like giving or on whether we are receiving something in return. It is not conditional. Loyalty, when it is true, is a steady force unshaken by the challenges that life throws our way. When things are difficult, when the odds are stacked against us, loyalty is the unwavering presence that reminds us of our commitment to the people we care about, to the principles we hold dear, and to the values that define us. It's easy to be loyal when everything is going well, when life is easy and relationships are without conflict. But real loyalty is tested in adversity, in times of hardship, in moments when standing by someone takes strength, patience, and perseverance. It is during these times that the value of loyalty becomes most apparent, because it's in the face of hardship that true loyalty shines brightest. In relationships, whether they are personal or professional, loyalty is crucial for building trust. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection, and without loyalty, trust is impossible. Trust is not built overnight, it is earned over time, through consistent actions that prove that we can be relied upon. Loyalty is what allows us to trust one another, to know that the promises made will be kept, that the support given will be genuine, and that the bonds shared are real and lasting. When we are loyal, we show others that they can depend on us, and this trust forms the basis for deeper, more meaningful relationships. Loyalty creates a sense of safety, knowing that we are not alone, that we can lean on others, and that others can lean on us in return. The power of loyalty lies in its ability to create connections that go beyond surface-level interactions. It allows us to build relationships that are grounded in respect, care, and shared values. When we are loyal to someone, we show them that we value them enough to be there, not just in the good times, but in the bad as well. Loyalty fosters a sense of belonging and community, and it is through these loyal connections that we find strength and resilience. In a world that often feels fragmented, where people come and go with little sense of permanence, loyalty offers a stabilizing force, a constant in the ever-changing landscape of human interaction. In addition to being a reflection of our values and beliefs, loyalty is also a reflection of our own self-respect. When we are loyal, we demonstrate that we are committed not just to others, but to ourselves as well. We show that we value our relationships enough to nurture and protect them, that we believe in the worth of those connections, and that we are willing to make the necessary effort to preserve them. Loyalty requires a level of self-awareness and self-respect because it involves understanding our own needs, desires, and boundaries. It requires us to balance our commitment to others with our commitment to ourselves. Loyalty, therefore, is not only about giving to others, it is also about knowing when to protect our own well-being and when to step back to preserve our integrity. Loyalty can be tested by external forces, by time, by distance, by conflicting interests, but it can also be tested internally. Sometimes we may find ourselves in situations where loyalty is difficult to maintain. We may face temptations, distractions, or circumstances that challenge our commitments. In these moments, the true measure of loyalty is revealed not in the ease of maintaining it, but in the effort and discipline it takes to keep it intact. Loyalty is about making choices that align with our values, even when those choices are hard. It is about staying committed to the people we care about, to the promises we have made, and to the principles we believe in, even when it seems easier to walk away or let go. Loyalty is a choice, and it requires the strength to make that choice repeatedly, even in the face of temptation, doubt, or hardship. At the same time, loyalty is not a blind allegiance. It is not about staying loyal at all costs, especially when loyalty requires us to turn a blind eye to wrongdoing or injustice. True loyalty requires discernment. It requires us to assess situations critically and to understand when loyalty should be given, when it should be earned, and when it should be withdrawn. Loyalty should not come at the expense of our own values or the well-being of others. It is about being loyal to what is good, right? And just not to harmful or toxic situations. In this sense, loyalty requires wisdom and courage to know when to stand firm and when to let go. Loyalty is not about perfection, it is about effort, consistency, and integrity. It is found in the everyday choices we make, in the actions we take, and in the commitments we uphold. It is easy to say we are loyal, it is much harder to live it every day. The true strength of loyalty lies in its ability to endure, to stay constant even when it feels easier to walk away, and to show up when others need us most. It is an unspoken force that shapes the depth and quality of our relationships, our communities, and our lives. Loyalty in its purest form is not about blind allegiance or unwavering adherence to one side. It is about balance, finding the space between commitment and self-preservation, between standing by someone or something and staying true to who we are. True loyalty requires us to maintain our integrity while also nurturing the relationships and principles we hold dear. It's a delicate balancing act, one that requires not just strength and dedication, but also wisdom and self-awareness. Loyalty without balance can quickly slip into sacrifice that harms us, while balance without loyalty can create a disconnect, preventing deep, meaningful relationships from flourishing. At its core, loyalty is about being there for someone or something in both good and bad times. It's about showing up even when it's inconvenient, even when the circumstances don't align with our personal desires. However, loyalty should never come at the expense of our own well-being or values. This is where balance comes into play. We must be able to stand firm in our commitment to others without losing sight of our own needs, beliefs, and boundaries. The strength of loyalty lies in its ability to be both unyielding and flexible, unwavering in times of crisis, yet adaptable enough to respect the complexities of human relationships. The first aspect of this balance is recognizing that loyalty does not mean unconditional obedience. It does not mean doing everything someone asks of us, even if those requests go against our own morals or desires. True loyalty requires us to question what is being asked of us, to assess whether fulfilling a request aligns with our values. It is about maintaining our authenticity, being true to ourselves while still offering support and dedication to others. The person we are loyal to should respect our boundaries and the integrity of who we are, just as much as we respect theirs. Loyalty without self-respect leads to resentment, to an erosion of personal identity, and to the eventual breakdown of the bond. It becomes unhealthy when we lose sight of ourselves in the name of loyalty. Equally important is the understanding that loyalty does not mean remaining in toxic or harmful situations. Many people mistakenly believe that loyalty means sticking with someone no matter the cost, enduring mistreatment, or turning a blind eye to behaviors that are damaging. But loyalty to someone or something should never require us to sacrifice our emotional, mental, or physical well-being. True loyalty involves discerning when it is time to stay and when it is time to step away. Sometimes the most loyal thing we can do for both ourselves and others is to recognize when a relationship is no longer healthy and when we need to walk away for our own sake. This act of self-preservation is not a failure of loyalty, it is a necessary part of ensuring that we remain whole, that we do not lose ourselves in the process of caring for others. Loyalty in this sense is not just about being there during the good times, but also having the wisdom to recognize when it's time to let go for the greater good, both our own and theirs. Loyalty, when balanced properly, is the foundation of trust. Trust is built on the idea that both parties know where they stand with each other, that they can rely on one another, not just for support in times of need, but for honesty, openness, and mutual care. Trust comes from the consistency of loyalty, the ongoing demonstration of commitment, and the reliability of being there when it matters most. However, the balance comes into play when we realize that loyalty does not mean we are always in agreement with the other person. True loyalty doesn't require that we always see eye to eye. It requires that we respect each other's differences, that we are able to have difficult conversations without tearing the relationship apart, and that we maintain open lines of communication, even in the face of disagreements. Loyalty is often regarded as one of the most essential qualities in any meaningful relationship, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. We often think of loyalty as an unquestioning, unconditional allegiance to a person or a cause. While that may be part of the equation, true loyalty goes far deeper than that. It requires a profound understanding of what it means to be dedicated to someone or something, and more importantly, it is grounded in mutual respect, trust, and growth. Loyalty is not about blindly following someone or adhering to outdated expectations. It is about standing firm in one's principles and commitments while remaining adaptable and open to the evolving nature of relationships. True loyalty is rooted in understanding. When we say we are loyal to someone, we are essentially pledging to stand by them through thick and thin. However, this does not mean we are simply offering them unquestioning support or blind allegiance. Rather, loyalty is about understanding the complexities of the other person and the relationship as a whole. It requires an awareness of what the other person needs from us, both in terms of emotional support and in terms of the space they need to grow and develop. Loyalty involves recognizing the inherent humanity of the person we are committed to, acknowledging their flaws and strengths, and being willing to support them through their personal evolution. Loyalty, then, is not static, it is dynamic, adapting to the changes that occur within individuals and relationships over time. One of the key aspects of true loyalty is the ability to remain steadfast, not just in moments of ease, but during times of conflict or difficulty. It's easy to be loyal when everything is going smoothly. It's easy to offer support when the other person is thriving and the relationship is uncomplicated. But loyalty is truly tested in the moments when things aren't going well, when conflicts arise, or when the other person is struggling. In those times, loyalty is not about simply agreeing with everything they say or do, but about standing by them even when the situation is challenging. It's about remaining present, offering compassion and understanding, and being a steady source of support as they work through their struggles. This kind of loyalty requires resilience and patience, a recognition that relationships are often not straightforward, and that loyalty is not just about being there in the good times, but being there when the going gets tough. Equally important is the concept of trust within loyalty. Trust is foundational to any meaningful relationship, and loyalty cannot exist without it. When we are loyal to someone, we are essentially placing our trust in them, believing that they will act in ways that align with their values and that they will continue to show up for us in the ways that they have promised. Trust is not something that can be demanded or assumed. It must be earned and continually nurtured. When trust is present, loyalty thrives because it creates a secure environment in which both parties feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to share their fears and desires, and to offer support when needed. But when trust is broken, loyalty can quickly unravel. A betrayal of trust can cause irreparable damage to a relationship because once trust is eroded, it is difficult, if not impossible, to rebuild. Loyalty in the face of broken trust is often a test of whether the relationship can endure, whether the individuals involved are willing to invest the time and effort needed to heal and repair the damage done. One of the misconceptions about loyalty is that it is unconditional and unquestioning. While loyalty certainly involves a deep commitment, it should not come at the expense of one's personal values or sense of self. Loyalty should never require us to abandon our principles, compromise our integrity, or allow others to treat us poorly. True loyalty is rooted in mutual respect, and it requires that both parties in a relationship honor each other's boundaries, values, and needs. It is about striking a balance between offering our support to the other person and maintaining our own emotional well-being. Sometimes this balance means recognizing when it is time to walk away, when staying loyal to someone might actually do more harm than good, or when the relationship has become toxic and detrimental to our own health. Loyalty does not mean tolerating mistreatment or abuse, nor does it mean sacrificing our happiness for the sake of the relationship. Rather, loyalty is about supporting someone, even in difficult circumstances, while ensuring that our own dignity and sense of self remain intact. Loyalty is not just about emotional support, it is also about being present and engaged in the other person's life, showing interest in their goals, their struggles, and their dreams. Being loyal means caring enough to understand where they are coming from, actively listening to their concerns, and offering practical help when possible. It is about showing up not just in moments of crisis, but in everyday moments as well, creating a foundation of trust and mutual care that sustains the relationship over time. Loyalty is not about grand gestures or dramatic sacrifices. It is about the small, everyday acts of care and attention that demonstrate our commitment to the other person. It is about being reliable, consistent, and present, offering the support the other person needs when they need it, without hesitation or expectation of something in return. At the heart of loyalty is the willingness to grow together. True loyalty is not about maintaining the status quo or remaining stagnant in a relationship. It is about recognizing that relationships, like people, evolve over time, and that growth is essential for the health and longevity of the bond. Loyalty involves a shared commitment to growth, both individual and relational. This means being open to change, being willing to adapt to new circumstances, and being supportive as each person grows and develops in their own way. It also means being able to communicate openly about the changes that are happening and ensuring that both parties feel heard and respected in the process. Loyalty, in this sense, is a partnership where both individuals are equally invested in each other's well-being and success. Another important aspect of loyalty is its role in fostering a sense of belonging. When we are loyal to someone, we are essentially saying, "I am here for you. I support you. You matter to me." This creates a sense of security and connection that is essential for human flourishing. Loyalty helps build the emotional foundation that allows both parties to feel safe, valued, and understood. This sense of belonging is essential for personal growth and emotional well-being, as it allows individuals to feel secure enough to explore their own identities, pursue their passions, and take risks. Loyalty creates a sense of community and solidarity, where both individuals feel supported not just as individuals but as part of something larger than themselves. Loyalty also fosters accountability, which is often an overlooked aspect of strong relationships. When we are loyal to someone, we hold them accountable to their values, their promises, and their goals. We encourage them to strive for greatness, to make choices that align with their highest potential, and to honor their commitments. Accountability and loyalty is not about criticism or judgment, but about supporting the other person in their journey and encouraging them to stay true to their word. It is about being a mirror, reflecting the other person's strengths and areas for improvement, and offering guidance and support when necessary. Loyalty helps keep individuals on track, providing a sense of direction and purpose that keeps the relationship moving forward. Loyalty is not something that can be easily quantified or measured. It is not about simply being there when it is convenient or only showing up when everything is easy. True loyalty is a choice, a commitment, and an ongoing process that requires constant effort and attention. It is about making the conscious decision to stand by someone, to offer your support and care, and to remain true to the values that bind the relationship together. It is about being present, even in the most difficult times, and offering your love, understanding, and commitment, knowing that the relationship will be strengthened by your unwavering support. Ultimately, loyalty is not just about the other person, it is about honoring your own sense of integrity and commitment, and showing up in ways that reflect the depth of your connection to one another.